Greetings and welcome to another model building workshop. I'm Mr. Allen, coming to you from Providence, Rhode Island, in my basement on behalf of the Smith Hill Library and the Community Libraries of Providence. And today we're going to be looking at the Churchill tank. This is the Churchill Crocodile. This is the old Tamiya kit. This is a big tank with a lot of little wheels. So if you're not somebody who likes putting a lot of wheels together, this may not be your thing. Although it's not hard. It's a Tamiya kit and it goes together pretty much by itself. If you just left the glue out and a hobby knife, you might wake up in the morning with it built. So this is the Churchill Crocodile, which is a flamethrower version of this tank. And you have this little towed trailer that goes with it, which carried all the fuel for the flamethrowing equipment. So imagine seeing this thing coming your way. This is a massive tank, a really massive tank. So this is an infantry tank. It's slow. It's meant to go along at the pace of infantry. In this version, which is the Mach 7, it's got a 75mm gun, so it's got some serious firepower already. And then you've got the flamethrower, which is in the front here. I mean, so I've heard stories that when these things approach the German lines, the Germans in pillboxes, in many cases, just put their hands up and said, "Forget it. I'm just going to surrender. I'm not going to deal with that." Because what are you going to do, right? It's got a cannon and it's got a flamethrower. It's shooting fire. Wow, what a terrifying weapon this is. So let's do a little background on this. And again, it's got a very long, typical Tamiya story with all the whole history here. But this is the Type 7, which is basically similar to the earlier models, which had different types of guns. It continued to get upgunned as the war went on. I think it started with a 2-pounder, then went to the 6-pounder, and then up to this 75mm gun by the late 43s. This was in time for the Normandy invasion that they had upgunned it to this. So in many ways, even though it looked similar to the earlier models, it was fundamentally a different tank at this point, because armor was increased up to 6 inches in some parts of the tank. It had has circular escape hatches on it now on the sides instead of the thinner rectangular ones that it used to. Yeah, you'll see a circular one here. I know it's hard to see with the lighting, but it's a circular escape hatch now. And let's see. It's got a heavy cast turret now, and the roof is welded. It's got a welded roof now. And also had a rotating armored vision cupola, for the commander, that's new. So, and with the flamethrower had the trailer was jettisonable. That's a fun word to say, jettisonable. And these were used with the 79th Armored Unit, 79th Armored Division, 141st Regiment is what it's saying here. That had all of these, funnies as they call them, these specially designed vehicles for Normandy. And there was another one of these that even had a giant mortar that was mounted onto it that was used during the D-Day invasion as well. So let's look at the instructions. It's fairly standard for Tamiya. If you built an old Tamiya kit, you kind of know what you're getting. Really not a lot of surprises. Again, lots of wheels, but not difficult. It's not really a complicated build, as you can see. I mean, most of it's just the fact that it's a large. And you get if I can get it here. 3 figures come with this kit. I'm sorry, 2 figures. It says three pictures, but 2 figures. And you do have the option, if you like, with this kit, that if you would prefer to do a regular Churchill Mark 7 without the flamethrowing equipment, you can do it. It's kind of mentioned very briefly over here that with this ball-mounted flamethrower, you could switch that for the ball-mounted machine gun, and then just leave the trailer off. Then you'd have a regular Type 7 Churchill, and you have a marking option for that vehicle. Now, I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe that Tamiya has reboxed this lately, and it has one so without the flamethrowing equipment if you wanted to do it that way. But this is the original kit from not sure, maybe the 70s, early 80s. I'm not sure when this came out, but in that era. I've been working on this recently, so still playing around with it. And they do show you how you could do a winter version with the whitewash, which is also not uncommon. And here's the added sheet for building the trailer. So I decided to do mine in an overall dark green for the Normandy period. I am working on getting another set of crew figures for this. Working on doing a slightly different approach because there's many different British crew figures you can get now for the D-Day period and even throughout the winter of '45. So there's a lot of different things you can do now. Big kit, but don't be fooled. It's not that complex really to build because most of it's just this large hull and side skirt pieces, So it's not as bad or as terrifying as you might think for the size of the kit. Pretty nice. And for those of you who are in the New England area, they do have, believe it or not, they do have a Churchill Crocodile in the American Heritage Museum up in Hudson, Stowe, Massachusetts. So if you want to look at one close up and personal, there's one there that you can look at with the trailer, and they even have these circular side hatches open so you can see the inside. Yeah, that's surprising to have something like this sitting in New England. Really cool. So again, another really fun vintage Tamiya kit, or Tamiya, I never know how to pronounce that. A lot of possibilities with this guy between doing the flamethrower version or not. It's got rubber band tracks, but they're very effective on this kit because with all that side skirt stuff here, it's fine because you don't really see any of the sag or anything. It really wouldn't be any sag on this type of almost World War I style suspension system that the British have here, which they continue to build these things throughout the war, all the way through. Very impressive tank, and probably very terrifying for the Germans. Anyway, that's today's model building workshop, and I hope you enjoyed that. Keep watching. Hope to see you in the next one. So, bye for now.